They told me the house on Old Creek Road had been empty since 1997, but the night I unlocked its door, I heard breathing that was not my own, slow and wet, as if the walls themselves were alive and waiting for me to step inside. I had come to rural Pennsylvania as a freelance journalist chasing what locals called a forgotten tragedy, a case that never officially closed, involving a family that vanished without a trace. And while police records listed the home as abandoned after a suspected gas leak, every neighbor I interviewed avoided eye contact when I mentioned the basement, lowering their voices as if something could hear us even from miles away. And what disturbed me most was that every single account ended the same way, with the phrase, "The house didn't want them to leave." According to court files, the Miller family moved into the house in the winter of 1996, a normal couple with 2 children, no criminal history, no signs of abuse or instability. Yet within 6 months, emergency services received a call from the youngest son, his voice barely audible, whispering that his parents were stuck in the walls. But by the time police arrived, the phone line was dead and the house was silent, and inside they found no bodies, no blood, no struggle, only deep scratches carved into the wooden walls of the basement, as if someone had tried to claw their way out from the inside. The case was ruled unsolved, the house condemned, and time buried the story. But when a county clerk accidentally released sealed audio files during a digitization project, I listened to recordings that made my hands shake, including a tape from a thermal inspection conducted after the disappearance where an engineer calmly reported multiple human-shaped heat signatures inside the walls, then paused, then whispered, "They're moving." Standing in the house now, nearly 30 years later, I told myself fear was just imagination amplified by isolation, but the moment I stepped inside, the air turned cold in a way that felt deliberate, like the house was breathing me in, and the floorboards groaned under my weight not randomly, but rhythmically, almost like footsteps matching mine. I set up my recorder and began narrating for my article. Yet every time I spoke, the sound echoed back a half-second late, distorted, as if someone else was repeating my words from behind the walls. And when I reached the basement door, I noticed it was warm to the touch, unnaturally warm, like skin, and carved into it were names: John, Lisa, Matthew, Emily, etched deep enough to splinter the wood. Names I recognized instantly as the Miller family. I should have left then, but journalists are cursed with curiosity, and when I descended the stairs, the smell hit me first, a mix of mold, rust, and something sweet and rotten, and my flashlight beam caught movement where there should have been none, shadows sliding along the concrete walls, stretching and shrinking as if reacting to my presence. That was when I heard the voice, a child's voice, whispering from directly inside the wall beside me, saying, "You're not supposed to be alone," and my recorder spiked with static so loud it hurt my ears. Panicking, I pressed my ear against the wall, and what I heard next shattered every rational belief I had ever held. Multiple voices, layered and muffled, crying, pleading, scratching, all overlapping, and beneath them, a deeper sound, a slow grinding noise like something chewing. Historical records later revealed that the house had been built over a collapsed 19th-century mine shaft where several workers died trapped underground, their bodies never recovered, and locals believed the land was hungry, but no official documents explained why every family who stayed longer than a year reported hearing footsteps at night or why pets refused to enter the basement. As I backed away, the basement lights flickered on by themselves, illuminating the walls, and for a split second I saw shapes beneath the concrete surface, faces pushing outward, mouths open in silent screams, hands pressing against the walls from the inside like insects trapped in amber. I ran, but the stairs stretched longer than they should have, each step echoing with whispers calling my name, even though I had never spoken it aloud. And when I reached the front door, it wouldn't open, the handle twisting freely as the walls around me began to pulse, swelling inward and outward as if the house was breathing faster. Excited, in pure terror, I smashed a window and crawled out, cutting my arms on broken glass, and the moment I hit the ground outside, the house went silent, lights off, still and empty again. Like nothing had happened. Police dismissed my report as stress-induced hallucination, but they could not explain why my recorder, recovered from the basement days later, contained an additional 40 minutes of audio I never recorded, consisting entirely of whispered phrases repeating one sentence over and over. "We made room for you." Weeks later, when I finally published the article, readers accused me of exaggeration, until an anonymous email arrived with no subject line, containing blueprints of the house I had never seen before, highlighting new spaces inside the walls that did not exist in any official design, and at the bottom of the email was a single line of text that still wakes me at night. "The house remembers you, because since that night, every place I've lived has begun to feel wrong, walls creaking when I sleep, rooms colder than they should be, and sometimes, when I press my ear to the wall, I swear I can hear breathing, slow and patient, waiting for me to come home."